Any objection? Thank you. Okay, guess we have the pledge of allegiance on the agenda, so we'll do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the Canadians give you grief as an American on your hikes?
No, not really. But they felt sorry for us, some of them did.
They're so polite.
Yeah, they are very.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. It was good, we were, it was through back roads. Organized trip through back roads and, it's 20 people, some of them were non-hikers and stuff, so one couple, this cardiologist couple. They did the first day and then that's it, they didn't hike anymore the whole week.
So what kind of?
So we were in 5-star hotels though,
Yeah.
so every day, 3 days you move to a different 5-star hotel.
Cool.
And
you hiked.
So we just did that, they travel around and we actually, did a polar plunge in one of the ice lakes, rain lake, which was fun.
Sure. In the summer.
Yeah. In the summer, you ski on it. Actually, it's ice skating on Moraine Lake and you ski on it.
Wow.
Hi. So, roll call, we're missing, Mark.
I believe he's out of state.
Yeah, I believe he's gone too. We're missing the counselor. And Russ. And I haven't, counted, Ms. Devlin on the committee since.
No, she's not. I mean, she's not really on the committee. She's a representative. I don't think she was ever put on the committee by the neighbor, if you know what I mean.
Okay,
Yeah, we would have to take council.
Yeah.
As council did some considerations for parks and trails. They've got 2 new members
Yeah.
appointed. And I think there's conversation on the lodger's tax for maybe a vacancy. Yeah, we need to replace somebody. So I think if you've been processed and vetted by the council, then.
that's why he's put to get on.
Right,
Mhm.
so.
Okay,
Do you even need to be a full-time resident here? I don't know.
No, I think they-
Committees,
No,
that was something that came up, 5 months
it was
ago?
about voting,
Yeah,
if you were a voting committee, which we are not.
yeah, and I believe that, that got modified. I know that was a big issue with several committees. Recreation committee has have a bunch of half-time residents on the committee, so I believe that was resolved, so it's a non-issue.
okay.
The agenda has 2 items on there, but I would like to, slightly modify that if I may. I did include any announcements. If we have any announcements or updates or changes, any comments from our public. And then,
Changes
Wait.
to public, what do you mean?
comments from the public, any comments?
Do you have a copy?
Not this one, but, we can go with this one. The new business, we had discussion of town hall feedback, I added. I think I added the second one here, discussion of next action steps, I just, talked about creating a timeline, so we're on track. The third item I added was, community vision development. Follow up on the vision exercise we did. And then wrap up included, of course, review action items, identify next topics and establish date and time, so not too much different.
I think those amendments are reasonable.
Okay,
A second?
Yes,
Yes.
since we don't have,
we don't really do
Robert
that.
rules, we can say,
Yes,
All in favor?
all good.
not in favor of those. Okay, good. So approval of the minutes.
I think you emailed them to us yesterday.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of time to review them, but,
Looked great.
okay.
Yeah, I think we should probably take a point to look through the action items and scratch the ones that we
Yeah,
got
there's a
all
lot
those.
of action items on there. I don't have
Okay.
it printed, but I would love to go through those at some point. How would you like to do that? At the end of the meeting?
If we have time today at the end, we could add review.
that a
action
copy?
items. This is a copy of
Let me
it.
go.
I'll
Let me
add
scoop it
that
to the
to
printer.
the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me just.
And I believe there are some topics in that, about follow-up from the town hall that are website related.
Yeah.
That we can have conversation on in this, today's topic.
Good.
Okay, Agenda's approved, the minutes, we're approved. Any other announcements, any updates on anything? Nothing, okay. Fair enough.
Rocos isn't here, and so I don't know if he would have
Yeah.
anything or not.
So, come on. Any comments from our
Excuse me.
public?
Excuse
you're-
me,
Yes, you're public.
question. I was curious to know if the draft information that you have compiled had gone to the counselors?
It was presented, all the templates was presented to council. Just prior to that last, our town hall. So Santos did proceed, I was there, and presented as well. I would ask Santos today if we had any feedback from council on that, I haven't heard any feedback.
Did it go to council? I mean,
It
did
was-
it go to a council session?
Yeah, went to a council session in their packets, they got the packet of all that
Okay.
draft. And we'll ask, when
Okay.
Santos gets back, we'll ask him to follow up with, that.
Okay, so my next question is, had you planned to put those draft templates on the database that, the Google database that Santos had set up? Because I was hoping to review those for you guys, and I didn't see them there.
So I think we need to make sure Santos, we can respond, because we've had issues, I don't know why, but when I went in to create all the folders within that Google Drive that would house specific sections of information, so that everything wasn't just in there in any number of ways, it was very organized. He said he couldn't get access to it, so I've got to find out what he has access to right now and what he does not, and what we need to do to change that. If he needs to recreate the drive, and I don't know. Anyway,
Thank you, Mary, and I'll follow up with that when Santos gets here, we'll double check on that, so the templates and all the information, okay. Santos, two questions came up while you were doing,
Copies.
yeoman's work there. When we presented to city council, they got the draft packet of all the templates and so forth, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
what was the date of that council meeting? Was it a work session or was it a council
It
meeting?
was a council
And
meeting.
was it the 8th or?
It was
9th?
the
yes,
meeting right after the town hall.
Right.
right after town hall.
So whatever that Tuesday was.
Okay.
So yeah, I just took all the templates that we had up to that point that, and most committees had responded with their templates to give them an update. I'd also started a draft on the updated plan, based on the templates. And got to Parks and Trails and was overwhelmed and decided I'll come back.
Okay, and were the templates and the information uploaded to the Google Drive yet?
Yes, those are the ones that I use.
Okay,
Okay, so you have full access to all the folders that I created in Google
I
Drive,
believe.
that
so.
you created?
are they in one folder under draft comp plan, or are they in the committee folder?
They're in the committees.
Okay,
So if we want to organize them and slide things around, we can. But that's where I took all the data that I
Okay.
presented to council.
so would it make sense, Marianne, if we created a comp plan draft folder and put the relevant templates in that, plus any of the narrative that we're developing for review?
Yeah, that sounds good. I was just gonna try to go back over to my uploaded file and see what was wrong, but now I'm kind of having a hard time getting back to you guys. So here.
Okay. So,
Okay, never mind.
no,
I'll
that's
talk.
good.
I'll talk with Santos later if I have a hard time accessing it.
Okay, and since that meeting, had there been any other follow-up from council on you, any questions or anything from council on any of the material provided to them at that meeting?
Questions? No.
Comments, discussion?
Great comments. I mean, you had the mayor stay for the whole time. You had at least 3 council members there.
Right,
And they were all amazed and impressed with the turnout, the engagement, very positive.
Okay, so let's move into new business.
Okay.
Town hall feedback, follow-up. And then what's next on that information, so, yeah, July 8th was the briefing time, okay. Town hall feedback. We were all there, I think, except, Allison was not there that one, but we had, I think we did get it, we probably had over 100 people that showed up, came into the room,
I think there were probably more than
maybe
that,
200.
because they would come in different shifts.
Yeah,
I
different
guess,
shifts, right.
Hey, but I mean, I talked to probably 100 people.
And there was interaction at every single one of the tables. From all the different committees, all kinds of different ideas were being surfaced, there's good communication. I hope one of the follow-up tasks is, we asked all the committee chairs to summarize what they heard. And if they got any comments, written comments on their sections, that they would capture those in an Excel spreadsheet of some sort. And respond to them, either it's either appropriate or inappropriate or so forth, so.
The little dot thing is incredibly popular.
Yes.
So whoever thought of that was a good idea.
I think it did go well, so.
We want to capture in the minutes at all, we don't have to, but what tables we had, I would just quickly write them in. We had a visioning table and a da-da table.
Yeah, so.
We didn't have every section covered.
I think we did.
We
We
did,
had like 6 boards for infrastructure. We had 2 for water, 2 for wastewater, drainage, we had 2 for roads, we had lodgers tax, we had Parks and Rec had 2 boards.
Yeah,
We had the airport, we had housing,
Night Sky,
Night Sky had a board, the airport had a board.
Fire had a board.
Fire, Adaptive, Liberty Square had the,
I like
Frank
20
Young.
words.
Yeah, they took up the whole room.
yeah.
People really liked it though. I mean, having the visual was helpful.
Yeah.
So every committee had a board
okay,
that, and every board got touched. There are
Yeah.
dots on every board. And we had the sticky notepads, if we missed something, put it on and stick it to the board, and there were a couple of boards that had this.
Yeah,
So every one of them was engaged, high engagement, and even the welcome board of
yeah.
put a dot where your house is.
Mhm.
Most of the people obviously were from the resort properties, but we did have people outside of the resort who were still participating on that town hall, so. It was very well received, I think, overall, and what I did is I took all, and I think I emailed it to everyone.
Mhm.
Just tallied the votes for all the boards based on comments.
Mhm.
And at least we have that. I know Attila, you had the visioning board.
yeah,
The word cloud you were working on.
yeah, I'll cover that in a second.
I think the only other comment from the town hall that we should probably consider is another town hall in the fall of following up with folks who are here maybe full-time.
Mhm.
Maybe in the shoulder season of getting people together. And I think it would also give an update with maybe the Frank Young Trail, Liberty Square. We can share a lot of the format and get updates and more vision. I was surprised at the engagement at Dark Sky. That committee has been, I think, meeting internally, meeting with council, and to see the level of engagement on their board, I think was extremely helpful and positive for that committee. The airport committees seem to feel that this was in line with a lot of their goals, that it was great feedback. And they actually want to take that board and put it at the airport and continuously get it updated.
Mhm.
So, I think the targets that were mentioned in workforce housing were as expected. Again, I think every board was engaged.
Yeah, I was curious about, like, did we have a community activities and tourism type thing?
That
That
was
was
a
kind
lot.
of in our,
Was that,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
loggers tax? Okay,
it may have even said tourism on it.
I
okay,
think it did.
well, good, I mean, it should, but I just didn't know exactly what was on that board and.
We've got the boards in
Oh.
the planning office.
Okay,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea to snapshot those and put it the drive is to have them.
That'd be
Yeah,
really.
Or on the website, that could be part of the
The
website.
website, yes, okay, so we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
come up with that second.
But overall, every comment I've seen was very positive.
It was actually much better than I was personally, but I didn't expect that many people to come.
Well,
Okay.
We had a meeting with AFPO and they all went to that, right?
Yeah, because that was one of your early comments. You're worried about if there's no food, there's no people.
Right.
Mhm.
But people just went and got food
And
and
then
then
came in,
And then
yeah.
came in afterwards, which
Okay.
is really nice. I don't know whether there was somebody down there directing them or keep reminding them to come, but.
I mean, did they at the AFPO meeting say, okay, right after this, we
Yeah.
have this, okay?
We did prepare, I did prepare some comments for whoever was gonna make those
Hmm.
statement.
Mhm.
I don't think it ever got to the mayor's hands or he didn't read it, but he made a few comments.
Okay.
They weren't as inspirational as I hoped they could have been to get people and why it's important to do it,
Mhm.
but the mayor did conclude with the town hall invite.
Okay.
And we, at the table, the entrance to the room, had the boards up of like Liberty Square and
Mhm.
so there was something to catch, what's over there? What is that kind of thing? And then we had a survey that the village was doing, a 10-question survey, which was, I think a snapshot, how are we doing? And so there was a QR code for that, on the table. And then we had a map and we asked you to put a dot on the map of where your property is. And then folks went into the room and just mingled and walked about. I do agree. I think Parks and Trails and Liberty Square took a third of the room.
What do you think about social media, advertisement of it in advance?
There was none.
It was on the board, the new sign, but like 2 days before.
I did a post on the information page, whatever, the day before.
Okay.
And maybe 6 likes or something on it, so it did not have the saturation. And I, it's who is that assigned to? Goes back to whether you've been assigned as a project manager on a contract or not. Topic. I think Greg and his staff were overwhelmed with the airfare event, and I think he probably got frustrated. The number of changes we were trying to do the panel, just as we were putting the panels
Okay.
together, what we thought should be on there
Okay.
and what he thought should be on there. I think they thought it was just an information sharing. I said, no, it is not just a show and tell panel. We want to collect information. So that changed the format, and I think it threw Caroline into just threw her off her game, and then I think Santos picked up the.
Yeah, so we made some edits like 5 days before to get them to Kinko's, 3 days before to get them printed 1 day before. But yeah, there were some format changes. I made calls to some of the committees that had like 1 or 2 goals and objectives of how can we flesh this out? I mean, and it's not like there wasn't any, like they weren't doing that work. It just hadn't been reported. Like Workforce Housing had like 2 goals. I'm like, but I think you've got more work to show. Oh, yeah. So we talked about that to put that in, and Dark Skies as well. It's like, had 2 goals and I know you've been doing a lot of work. So it just took some follow-up to get the boards fleshed out. And I do agree there was some formatting issues that folks thought it was just this and we really needed that. I think it worked out.
Yeah.
And that to have the level of engagement that we ultimately received was incredible. And everybody felt that level of engagement. I think somebody said this is the most engaged town hall meeting they've ever been in 30 years. Which, okay, that's a lot. So even though I think the social media push might have gone better, you still had a huge group.
Mhm.
I think the way that it was marketed to capture that group.
Well, and a captured audience already, like they're
Yes.
already there.
Yeah.
Oh, we might as well go look. And I do think if we do something in the fall, it might be good. Maybe that Saturday of Oktoberfest in the morning
Yeah.
or something. That way
Yes.
you have people in town, that
Mhm.
type of a deal.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna try to do something in the fall.
Exactly. Okay, I didn't know. So we have Oktoberfest here. It's a new thing, I guess.
Yeah, we did it. It was like a last minute launch last year, but this year we've got, the Lederhosen and Junkies, the same bands that's at Red River the next week.
Okay.
It's the real deal. I ordered my own Lederhosen. It came in yesterday.
Awesome. What?
Leather or leather?
Is it,
Oh, shoot.
I was just wondering how early it is in October. Is it
I might have
middle?
left my phone.
I think you said first of October,
Oh.
first weekend? First weekend of October?
I think so.
Don't tell me I'm
So-
not gonna be here.
So, that's good. We could do all the tables at the tenth then possibly, but in the morning before, if we have room, take part in the time.
And the fact that these are foam boards,
Yeah.
right? They're not flapping anywhere. We just need,
To hold down.
and we had, I mean, Consensus had like 20 easels.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
Okay,
Um,
right?
Oktoberfest could be good. That's a good idea.
Mhm.
All right, so. Town hall feedback, I think then,
You put together some things. You
the,
put together your, word.
yeah, the word cloud. Yeah, I'll share that in a minute. That's,
Okay.
that's further down.
All
I
right.
think on the panel we have now, so left it at home, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry.
So, as far as the follow-up on the website, so. Everyone got the QR code to go to the village website, so they've been there, they've seen, and if they've gone there, there's still nothing about this. The panels aren't up on that, like, we have no images of the panels. There is, we hear off and on talk about a survey that's broader than the 10 questions.
right,
And I believe the 10-question survey was a directive from the mayor, like overnight to Greg, get a survey out. Greg has no experience in survey development, question how to do it, whether you do Likert scale or whatever else. So he did it because the mayor told him to, but if we do a survey, I think, we could collect that information off the website. And maybe it's timed for the next draft. Somehow I think we need to have another feedback loop on the draft plan. Or whether in its executive summary, we need a feedback loop. So that could be the Oktoberfest opportunity. It could be in advance of that, but I think as we pull this together, we gotta start seeing where there's overlap. For example, yesterday I was coming down Bill Burgess here and I saw some motorized scooters in the roadway. Also, it also made me think, God, we should have one lane here and it should be a striped bike lane on this instead of 2 lanes. Could handle it. And it made me think about, okay, is that a Parks and Recreation Trails Committee initiative to talk to Public Works about the streets?
Transportation.
So where, so how do these different siloed committees start seeing the overlap between each other?
Today, it was way out next to the country club.
Yeah.
The late girl was on a scooter. I was like, oh, that's good.
So.
well, I think you're right on 2 levels. Number one, I do believe the survey was, hey, get this out tomorrow, and Greg did. But in that process, there's now a system
Yeah,
where we can generate a survey and send it out, and it will collect data and start to sort it. If we need to develop one, I think there's a path to do that.
right.
But second, with respect to motorized trails, I think that is a conversation that Parks and Trails, streets, that's like an immediate, hey, what is it? Because there has been conversation about Bill Burgess is too wide. Why do we have 2 lanes?
And then they go down to 1 and everybody's confused.
Yeah, so what if we dedicated 1 lane for parallel parking, 1 lane for traffic?
Oh,
It slows it down for traffic if there's parallel. But how do we also maneuver a bike lane, pedestrian lane? I mean, you've got sidewalks, which is
Right.
helpful, which also leads into, well, how do you get the Frank Young Trail, Bill Burgess beyond?
Right.
And what other networks on the south get to how do we integrate those to the west and to the south to this point, whether it's crosswalks or whatever? So I do think you're right that there is some overlap amongst, that's
oh,
just
there always
committees
is. That there
right
always.
there.
I mean, with the healthy, watersheds and the streets, drainage,
Right.
there's overlap there.
Mhm.
There's overlap between public health and air quality and, healthy.
And then rec and lodgers tax and
Yeah.
all the stuff.
But I think the motorized component of trails there is no policy,
No.
except that it says no motorized vehicles, right? Are allowed on the trails and they don't want cars on the trails, but I don't think anybody's thought out, what about these scooters and bikes, right? Which now impacts, what kind of surface do you want on these trails? Which
And-
now impacts, well, how are these trails to be designed for mobility? Or not, right?
Yeah.
And that's, so it's just one component that has so many other variables that can be added to it. I believe you're right.
Yeah.
How do we start that conversation if it hasn't started?
Just so I understand, do people not want the e-bikes on our trails? Is that what it
They
is?
generally don't want them if they have a throttle. In other words, if you have to pedal, like I was talking about my bike earlier, I have to pedal in order to get any power.
Okay.
And so it's like it's a motor, it's a mountain bike, but it's got some power to get me
Some
up.
power
pedals.
assist.
Yeah.
Cause I see.
And that's
people-
what-
We live off Cougar and we live where it serpentines up.
Yeah,
And I can sit there and look and go, that's got some power to it, cause
Yeah.
there's no way somebody.
yeah, exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
So. Plus
Like
Patrick
having a
was,
bike,
yeah.
right, way Patrick could do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's in our rec and trails committee is a developing a policy on e-bikes. People laughed it off, but
But it's the
It should
same as
be-
national parks, they're the same, I mean, we
Right.
would basically copy what some of them have done, right?
we wouldn't copy national parks because they don't
Well-
have any bikes anywhere.
Yeah, well,
Well,
they.
not now, they might next week. So,
Exactly.
yeah, but it goes back to the part of the plan, what I've been thinking about is. And these aren't the objectives of the committees, it's probably policy we developed that says, projects involving, bicycle access or bicycle routes shall include conversation between rec and trails and streets and infrastructure and public works. So any policy that, so, anything that's done, so I think we can build a bunch of policies in this thing that show that it has to be the interaction between different committees. I think that's one role we've gotta, as we dig in and look at this thing, that's where I think we wanna look for those overlaps.
Well,
So it's not siloed.
just to go back one step on the town hall, I think having all the boards, all the committees in one space at the same time kind of helped start that conversation of where, oh my gosh, people want us, there's dots here for that, and then I think that was a good start, instead of just talking to people about, hey, we should do that, I think was helpful too.
Yeah. Okay, so, on our agenda, discussion, town hall feedback, we're good, so a couple of potential action items are, if we do a follow-up. Town hall, we've got an idea for Oktoberfest, it's hanging with the Angel Fire Oktoberfest event, so we should probably. Talk to Greg about that sooner than later, just to give a heads up, we might like to do a version 2. Are we in favor of, any kind of a deeper dive survey? I know we can't go too deep because it's confusing, but a number of these topics,
I think it would have to be based on some information that we
we want people to need.
get, yeah,
Okay.
versus just saying we need a survey.
Yeah, I agree, You have to have a,
But it could be something where we put it on as a tabled item that we continue to come back to.
okay,
So how would you like to say that?
just continue conversation on, community survey,
Designed.
yeah.
'Cause I
And
think,
content.
I think that's what we're trying to get to, is the design. And
Oh, what do you? mean?
Design is the content, it's the content.
Oh, okay.
how many questions, what questions to
Yeah.
ask, what are we trying to capture with this question so that we can
You be very.
somehow
very
work with
specific.
it? Yeah,
Be Very, really
Right.
get the answers you really wanna get, nothing.
I think we,
too-
I'll reach out to Greg to see that survey that he put out. What are all the back end tools to see if this is something that can not just send it out, but how does it capture and start sorting things, right?
Did he use Survey Monkey or not?
I don't know what he did.
Okay,
I didn't take it. Sorry.
I never saw it.
I either, I never went to the front table.
I put my sticker. Right.
That's good.
Sticker.
We're glad you put the sticker
I think the survey
on. Oh,
part.
you've got,
Go
Oh,
ahead.
Go
Mary
ahead,
Ann.
Mary Ann, sorry.
It appeared to me that that survey went out to people that were subscribed to the home notifications, because when I received it, it came through that notification system. And I sent mine in. Of course, mine's going to be a extreme outlier because I knew one of the questions was, are you aware of? And it lists about 8 things that were going on with the village. And I was, because I was heavily involved, but I would be curious to see how that turned out as well. But it didn't go, it wasn't, as far as I could tell, it wasn't a widespread distribution. It was people that were enrolled in their home notifications.
Makes sense,
Okay.
because we've got those emails, right?
Yeah,
So trying to create something quick, and this is what you've got, okay, that makes sense. I just don't know how many people are on there. Is it 400? Is it 7? I don't know.
yeah, I don't either. Okay.
But I think it's worth a conversation with Greg to get some more details about this tool to see if it's adaptable to this committee.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
see him today if he's in.
Talk to Greg about survey and potential adaptation to comp plan. Survey tool. Adaptation to comp plan. All right. As far as the existing panels, do we want to put those on the website?
Yes.
Okay. With what we found out in the summary. Okay.
How do we get that done? Is that gonna be somebody's gonna take pictures of them and put them on there?
So action is upload panels to the website. So we need photos. 8x10 colored glossy photos of circles and arrows. The paragraph back to each one. Can't do that till Thanksgiving. Photos. And then this is gonna be working with Shay. So she has a comp plan page, we can just put it on there.
Mhm.
I say we need a paragraph on the town hall and the outcome, right?
Okay.
On town hall results. How you can participate further. And that's gonna be reaching out to your favorite committee or all committees further.
Are you gonna put your word cloud in there?
We'll talk about that. I don't think I got enough information yet to make it useful. So photos, who can take photos?
We could do it today.
Okay, so Santos do photos. A paragraph on the town hall. You wanna do a paragraph on the town hall?
Here it works.
Ah, shit. I'll do a paragraph. on the
I
town
thought it
hall.
might be best for it.
Okay, how you can participate further, I'll do that. And then, do you wanna talk to Shay as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Shay Santos, get that up there.
So it's the comp plan webpage?
Yeah, and then we probably need a social media post on the information page, right? Or there's a village has a Facebook page too, right? So it should be posted there and then also shared on the information page.
There's the information highway and there's 2 of them, right? Information highway and
Locals only.
no, it's information and,
The old post office. better
no,
than the
not
post office.
that one.
Nope,
Well, I have 5 of them, so.
You have 5?
No, okay.
There's 2 main ones now, and I don't know which one.
I would tell you if I had my phone.
okay, so we need a social media post on the panels are up on the website. How to participate. And then we need a couple of the other Facebook pages related to the village that are most relevant to us. And if we're gonna do that, then someone's gotta monitor that post for any comments that come in.
Right.
Would that be Shay or would that be?
I
someone
would
else?
doubt it's Shay. She's got her hands full. Do you wanna,
Okay.
can you monitor one of those police?
I think the Greg's team monitors any Facebook posts or associated with the village, right?
I think it's the Visit Angel Fire one is when they do.
Okay.
That's different than the village website.
Yeah,
So we need
I
to
was just
monitor-
curious, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious, on the boards that had a lot of dots on a particular topic, is the committee going to make that a priority because it received the most interest from the public?
I think they should consider it. I think it was a windshield survey to show where the most community interest. For example, I know the airport guy said, wow, I was totally surprised that the most important thing was direct flights from Dallas or Denver, or wherever it was, Austin. Hey, that blew him away. So it made him rethink his process and how he's doing stuff based on community feedback. So I think my objective on that was to help the committee see where community interest is, and hopefully that's where they'll take it.
Okay.
So as we
My
follow
other-
up- Yeah, go.
The other thing I noticed was there were a lot more dots on the boards with the social issues, the trails, the airport, the night sky, not so much on the infrastructure. So to me, that says that the public is really not very knowledgeable about water, sewer, solid waste issues. And they weren't drawn to making comments on those boards. You can look at the boards side by side, and those were emptier. So I don't know if, as part of your fall town hall, you might have some information from Kurt Epler about infrastructure, because I don't think the general public really understands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're
I mean,
not-
they understand roads, they don't like them, but they
Right.
don't understand our water, wastewater issues. No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
that's
don't
also-
understand, and they don't necessarily understand consequences to for drainage
Right.
when there are issues with the roads. Because if the roads, for instance, if driveway culverts are clogged, water's diverted from the ditches onto the roads, and you get erosion where you don't want it. So I think that there needs to be some public education on infrastructure.
I put, okay.
And that's probably true in any community across the country. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm doing a trails meeting anywhere I went, I could get 100 people at a trails or a park meeting. And if I'm doing something else on a comp plan meeting, you get 10. So that's pretty way standard that planners realize. There is much more community passion around the social issues, the parks and trails and other things, and
Absolutely.
there was on,
The recycling got a lot of input.
Yeah, planning and zoning
A
stuff.
lot of people.
But that is good. It also makes me think about that, one of these ideas that might come out is that a need for a homeowner's guide to the
Mhm.
village, which could have section on driveway drainage, it could have a section on night sky, it could have a section on wetlands and those kind of things. Go ahead, Mary Ann.
Septic system.
I already shared a thought with Chuck Howe. He's reorganized the Infrastructure Roads Committee into a Public Works Committee. And one of the things that occurred to me, there are two properties close to where I live that one has changed hands recently and one is on the market. And both of them have driveway culverts that are completely clogged. And so my suggestion to Chuck was to figure out a way to make clearing your own driveway culvert a condition to the inspection that happens at the sale of a property. If they look on the inside of the house, they look around the outside to see if there's any damage. Well, I think that something that's very important to the homeowner, to the community, is that their driveway culvert is clear.
Well,
And so I don't know how that happens. Owen, you may know something about the inspection
Well, and
process.
And I would actually piggyback on that, that any homes that are on an uphill have to have a graded culvert
Yes,
put
they
in
do.
at the time
Well,
of sale.
Well, the graded culverts are only good if you have a hard surface. If you have a gravel or compacted dirt, or I call it road base kind of driveway, it will create runoff with silt and you know, driveway material. And all of a sudden, you get a couple of rains and your great inlet that crosses your driveway is filled with dirt. And cleaning those out is not an easy task for a homeowner. So those are good if you have an asphalt driveway, but I don't think it should be recommended across the board for surfaces other than a hard surface.
Yeah, I know that in our case, I mean, I drive the roads here almost daily. That we've seen a big difference even on gravel driveways,
Yeah.
having those put
Yeah.
in. Where they used to rut out, every time it rained hard, the roads. But, I'm not as familiar with, the different aspects of it, but I agree. I don't know whether, I would assume that would be an ordinance that you'd have to put in that upon sale, your culvert has to be cleared out. Cause it is a problem as far as I would probably, I mean, Kurt was just here, but I would put a third of our road issues on runoff from driveways.
Yeah. Well, I don't, that definitely is not going to touch every property, but at least you'd have the opportunity when property changes hands to bring it up to standard. So,
I would agree.
And that ought to be in the, one of the strategy of, if there's a goal for reducing, runoff on roads, that should be one of the action items in there.
Exactly.
Develop, prepare an ordinance, develop an ordinance, pass an ordinance that requires. Cause they already require the graded stuff on the new driveways, right? I think that's so, I think that's true. And the trophy home up here that's being built, that's got 100,000 on the rock. They've moved their little ATV driveway twice already, and it's a fall line, no matter how good it is, it's a fall line cut down the hill. And they cut a pipe, slits in a pipe for that. And I guarantee it's gonna fill up on the first big monstrous rain because it's too steep. So,
Well, I do know all of this is being discussed at the Public Works Committee.
okay,
That they've actually gone through the list of Title VII, which is infrastructure, requirements for roads and, that a lot of this is being proposed of amendments to that chapter. So that it's an ordinance
oh,
of
good.
meeting these goals. So I think everything,
The Public Works Committee has already met.
they've met like 3 times. Mhm.
This is the new one that does it. Okay.
I can't say that they've met quorum, but they've
Okay.
plowed through.
Okay.
They're like, we need to talk about
Yeah.
it. So,
Okay,
but everything you've discussed is what you hear in those conversations. And in fact, Kurt caught me this just before I came in and said, hey, I need to get to you some amendments to Title VII to draft to bring to council. Okay.
all right. Nice. Okay, anything else on the feedback? So I'm gonna move to the vision part real quick. So we had a vision board. And on the vision board, I asked people to give me a headline in 10 years. And some people had fun with it, saying that Greg Ralph would be mayor, running his second term for mayor, and then someone else said Greg Ralph's retired. People did have fun with that. Someone else was gonna be mayor for another term as well in that little exercise. But we had 22 comments or 22 headlines that were provided. Some other statements were up there as well. That were really, I interpret as objectives. Continue to adapt dark sky ordinance, pursue funding, educate property owners. That was kind of all just objectives that got thrown on there. But some were definitely event oriented, like Earth, Wind and Fire or George Strait perform at Liberty Square sets a record for largest audience
Oh,
attendance,
good grief.
right?
Yeah,
So 10 years from now, that's reasonable if Earth, Wind and Fire is still alive.
Sure.
But the idea that people were thinking, what could happen here in 10 years, the objective on that. And there wasn't really a really good pattern that came out of it, except for the word community.
Nice.
So no one, I think, I did not sense that, no one said, we want to be an outdoor recreation destination. No one said, we want to be the premier senior living community in New Mexico. I think what I heard was that we want to be a place where families can thrive and live, or kids can have a safe place. It was kind of the gist of what I was getting out of the vision exercise. So, I did share that with us, and I also shared a draft vision that Allison put together in January. And this morning I received an old visioning worksheet that the Park Service did. It's already been pulled off the websites. I found, share with you guys, I think about what our vision, I'm not ready to create one yet. But the sense of the idea that we're a community, or we're a community that supports families and it's good for families, I think is where I'm sensing what I'm hearing. So everything we're doing with upgrading infrastructure supports that.
You know, and that,
The resort can be the outdoor recreation
Yeah.
destination, but we
Yeah.
need to be a community that is,
so that makes me think about what was going on back here at this, whatever we're calling it. You know, a family comes in there. Some people are gonna wanna watch the music. Some people are gonna want their kids to go off and play on some playscapes.
Yeah.
I mean, you've gotta have something to entertain a variety.
right. And if you're doing all the workforce housing, it means that we gotta think about play spaces in those
Yes.
developments.
Community type things that bring people together.
Right, and able to
Okay.
walk out of those into the rest of the community, so.
And I think that's being integrated into
Yeah.
those conversations in Liberty Square. Is that they want, I mean, there was an exhibit that. Maybe this is it. Yeah, so. Having a diversity of users where you can see the event, participate with the band. But you got the play area over
Yes.
here that's separate from the parking, connected to the trail. I think that conversation, I think people are listening to that in this design. You could still have things here that are complement or separate from whatever's here. Or maybe it's just a smaller scale, you don't need the whole yard, you can do it here. So I think people are listening to that and trying to incorporate it as best they can. But that's for the committee that starts at 11.
Right. Yeah, my full day of meetings there, right? Okay, so, we've got to do more on the visioning. Usually it's stakeholders get together and think about what they want to be, so I think as we prepare this, our objective should be that council has to adopt a vision.
Just ignore it.
Yes, and the sooner the better in some ways, where it ties in, because the comp plan has to align with the vision for the community. That's the
Yes.
whole.
There's so, and it filters in, like,
It does.
it infiltrates into everything, well, not everything, but a lot of the things that we are looking at doing. We wanna make sure we incorporate that
Yeah.
too.
So do you see, guys, Mary Ann, I'm gonna ask you that same question. Do you guys sense that this idea of family and community kind of a focus?
I know it's, in our case, it's a focus because that's who comes here
Okay.
already. And, we're not a party destination, anything. And we like the fact that we're a family destination. I like our renters that we get that are family destination people. And I think everybody would agree that's the direction we're headed. We're not.
Okay, it can be outdoor recreation, but it's family oriented kind of.
Yeah.
Even in, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the people that come here in the winter, I'm sorry, Mary Ann, one quick, I've said this before and I apologize for repeating it, but the people that come here in the winter are like, what is there to do after skiing for my kids? They want, I'm thinking about the event center, when we talked about it being a 2-story thing, upstairs would be arcades and games and things. I know we have a community center, but it doesn't really engage. I mean, it is a place for people to go that it's not even open late. Anyway, Mary Ann.
Yeah,
I had a brief meeting before I had to leave last week with Santos and Bill. And one of the things we talked about, one of the things that draws families and makes community is a good school system. And I think that maybe in the comp plan, there needs to be some mention about investigating, development of the school district. I know they're in the Cimarron School District, but it's tough for families to get their kids up to Eagle Nest and out to Cimarron every day through a harsh winter. I think that needs to be part of the building of a community, is to have a school system where people can send their kids local.
That's a big one.
good point, thank you. Okay, so we'll continue to work on that, we'll start. I'll give it some more thought on how we put a statement together. I'm okay with a statement that has some sub goals as you did, but I think there's that one. You read it as, you read it 10 years in the future, so this is what we're striving to get to. And there could be goals, whether it's family activities or school district or healthcare, whatever, it could be sub bullets under that. Okay, any other thoughts on the vision part?
I just think that's kind of what we've been hearing for years, that this is a family destination, a family place, which kind of blends into all the marketing
Yeah.
you've seen so far. So it kind of makes sense.
But I'm not
The
sensing
feedback.
it as destination as much as people want to live here, they wanna raise their families here, which is different than a destination, so.
Right.
Are we a community that, someone who's starting off a new family, can they make it?
Well, I think also the feeling of community, it's not just.
You're right,
I mean,
feeling
people
of
come here
community.
and they feel like they're part of the community, like our pickleball thing. I know there's been some crazy stuff going on lately, but in general, people really feel that they know everybody that they're playing with and they're having fun, just bantering back and forth, and it is a community for them. And when you got groups that get together and do things like our trekking group, those are community things because you now are part of, you feel part of, you don't come and then you don't know anybody and you're just coming down here to be in the mountains for a week or two because they want to feel like they are part of it. So, sorry, I don't know how to.
No, that's good, I mean, it is
It-
community, right, it's right.
Well, and then we really need to decide what we want. Were you with us on the economic development when we had that company come in? And it was interesting to me that you have to hit permanent population levels before you get the next level medical care or the next level schools.
Mhm.
And so it was like to really hit a critical mass, we needed to more be like in the 2,000 to 3,000 permanent resident range. And then all of a sudden hospital district would start looking, oh, there's enough people there now. And, but then you had people that they don't want that, so it's kind of a little bit of a conflict that as a
Yeah.
community, I would like to have it. I would like to be able, because we lose a lot of our permanent residents because they need next level medical care and they can't get it here. And so they have to leave. And so it's the same thing with schools. Like if you had the next level population level, then you could warrant a new school or, maybe focusing on that. And so that was part of it, is it's one of those things, the chicken or the egg. Do you have enough stuff that people want to live here full time? But then you can't really build that stuff until there's more people here. And so you kind of fall in this thing. But I think if we start having more things, more people will take that leap and come here. And then as our population grows, full-time population, then we can have more amenities that are gonna kind of attract. And I don't know, we would have to have a vision, like how big do we want to be? Do we
Right,
want to be like a 4,000 population type place, full-time population, or I don't really know what the answer to that is though.
Again, I think we mentioned how conversations blend amongst committees. I think everything you mentioned is exactly what is being said in workforce housing. That people wanna be here, they just can't find a place to live,
Right.
but they would love to just have the kids in school, go to work here instead of shuttling wherever else there is.
Right.
Which that feeds in, it's housing, it blends into economic development, and bleeds into schools, healthcare, all of the above, so. I don't think we're missing anything, it's just trying to manage these simultaneous conversations to keep them all going in the same direction.
All right, well, that's good conversation on the vision part. We'll keep hammering it out. So, if anyone has ideas for a vision statement, you wanna throw something at me, I'll start, I'll continue to work on it, so. Something comes to your mind, kick it my way. All right, so, next steps for plan development. We still have a goal of getting this thing done in the fall. So let's put a timeline together of the action steps needed to get this thing in front of council for approval for the plan, and then as I suggested earlier, I believe it's not our job to identify all the implementable actions. That's up to the committees and village staff in most cases, so I believe that once the plan is adopted, I believe council and village staff need to have a 1 or 2 day facilitated retreat to come up with a 3-year action agenda that they agree to and adopt.
So the implemental actions that we have in the comp plan are gonna be at a higher level.
Higher
You know,
level,
we
yeah.
need an ordinance for this.
Right,
Or we need to work on this or that. It's just, so
sure,
they will go into how.
yes. So the village will decide, okay, so yeah, we need an ordinance that deals with e-bikes or whatever the topic is. They can decide, they're gonna decide through a facilitated conversation. That's a year 2026 or 2027 topic or whatever it is, that's beyond scope of our comp plan, that's gotta be, we can't tell staff. And council what they should be doing. We can recommend some things, it's up to
Yeah,
them to.
for instance, with water, go. Your priority probably should be your 2-inch water line.
And I think they already know that, so, that's already in there,
Yeah.
they,
I'm just trying.
all the, funding they're pursuing, infrastructure funds, whatever else is that they're already going after those things. And that'll just align right in with the work plan that's already happened, but, for our draft plan with goals, objectives, and some implementable actions. Do we have a goal of what, into September for that? What are we saying?
Well, if we're gonna have another town hall the first weekend in October.
Oh, that's right, it's gonna be a little bit of that.
I think we try to hit as much as we can around that target.
Okay.
Because I think what we should be doing at that is an update, right? Of
Mhm.
what's been fleshed out, what's been revised, what's been updated. So that late September, early October, circling around that town hall makes sense.
Update revisions, share draft, right?
Yeah,
How's it going with identifying funding sources for meeting some of the committee goals?
I don't think any of us has worked on that yet, unless the committees have.
I don't know how the committees are doing it.
No, I think it's beyond the scope of most committees. It seems like, I believe, Rocky is in a groove of funding different funds. He's actually talking to NF and DFA, Department of Finance Administration, about funding funds for Allen Fields. So I think he's in the groove of looking at different sources. At the same time, there's a lot of the funds that in that committee are not gonna be available anymore.
Well, one thing is there's lodgers tax and sports facility tax. But they're both earmarked for certain things, so
Mhm.
you could use sports
Yeah.
facility for trails.
Yeah, right,
Those type of objects as well as,
Right.
some degree lodgers tax, but the rest of the committees, they just have. The whole general fund.
state fund, general fund, other
Yeah.
grant forces. I know, for example, one thing I'll share that I think it fits with lodgers taxes, I want to, from a wrecking trails perspective, I wanna assess all the trails for adaptive use. Can you ride this on a hand cycle or recumbent? And I think lodgers would help with that because that would bring people That's marketing to the Veterans Wellness and others who can come in here and say, hey, this is a place we can ride if we have mobility challenges and are using mobility devices. So adaptive an analysis would take a little work to go through that kind of a detailed infrastructure, but it would pay off. And the idea is that we've got to redo all the maps and brochures this winter. So get that done. So next spring you'd have a full update.
We
That-
get that question a lot from people.
Yeah, so that it fits in. This is not, it's not ADA trails, but it's, can you ride Cougar in a recumbent? Well, the switchbacks are pretty tight. Mary Ann,
I would highly recommend that you get Julie Coleman, the woman that deals with grant acquisitions and state funding, to go through each template and, based on her history and knowledge, identify some funding sources for different community needs. I think she's your wealth of knowledge, so that you could at least have some proposed funding options within each section of the report.
great suggestion. Can you touch base with
Yep.
Julie? Okay. All right, so we'll touch base with Julie on each template to see if there's, she can identify some key sources that could be pursued.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so as far as timeline, so we're looking at a draft, comp plan that would be both narrative, and then Marion also says, talk to Bill Chapman and others, if we want to put some visuals and pictures into the comp plan, if it's actually it could be just an executive summary. I mean, maybe there's two versions. There's the detailed template, there's executive summary that might just capture some goals for each committees, some photos to show here's where we're going. Could be done electronically, and a print version that could be a 6 or 8 page executive summary. That'd be good for anyone in council, anyone in committees, anyone coming into town and see it on the webpage that go into detail. So our draft for the Oktoberfest, should that be an executive summary level or a detailed?
See how far we can go. Let's start at executive
Yeah.
summary and get as much details as we can on chapters.
Okay,
And I think just share what we have. I don't, if it. Cause I've started some of these chapters already, and if we can get it, if I can get it fleshed out a little more. Let's make sure we're still going in the right direction.
so is there a task for? So did you get a contract signed
I'm hoping today.
today?
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
wonderful.
It was
Would you,
promised this week.
would
Today's
you-
Thursday.
as project manager, would you then assign chapters to us to review for you to edit? And would
I
that-
would like that.
Okay,
Hey, this is what I've heard and I've put to narrative. Am I on the mark or not?
okay, so can you take lead on assigning, if you want me to look at something besides rec and trails, which I know too well, and look at another one?
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Give
I
me some
think,
time.
yeah, I think I'd like for you to do assignments, and maybe Mary Ann's still willing to stay in the shrubberies and review something.
Yeah, I've already talked to Bill and Santos about being available to do overall coordination of the report, checking it for discrepancies, making sure format's consistent. You know, I have some technical writing experience, making sure that whatever's presented in text is doesn't sound like somebody talking to you, someone that's actually presenting information.
Wow.
Things like that. Also going to do some homework on formatting. It's been a long time since I used it, but there's a formatting system where if you were to change like you have a table of contents, you have a table, a list of tables, a list of any particular figures. And if they get moved around in the report, there's a formatting system that automatically changes the page number on which it occurs. So I'm going to do a little homework and make sure that I have that system, if I refresh myself on that system. But I'm all about making the final report being representative of a quality document. So I would be able to do that in September.
Thank you. That is great. That's a great resource.
We talked last week about some of those formatting options. I think that goes into this whole development of the text, so that everything reads the same and
Mm.
it flows the same, so.
So, Allison, Bill Chapman posts quite regularly on the wetlands site. Can you reach out to him, see if he's got, I mean, if we wanted photos.
And Paige.
And Paige, if we wanted photos for, are there types of photos? We want an example of a failing culvert. What are some images we'd want to collect for the plan? So maybe that's a topic we want to cover.
I think we need them,
Yeah,
and I think we need a variety of them,
yeah.
from
So let's
trails, somebody on a bike.
Yeah,
I think, we can go through
yeah, tell us what you want and then we'll.
and if we broke it down by committees, I think each chapter should have something more than just text.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And if it's 2 photos or 1 photo, at least it's representative of what goes with that chapter.
You know, I also like, and I know we're getting into the weeds here, but in the text, things like, did you know? A little side thing, that just says, oh, did you know we have a wastewater treatment plant that uses UV filtration, or I don't know, anyway.
yeah, I think call out boxes could be good for the executive summary, but the detailed plan, that could be actually better for I think that's better for a homeowner's guide.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you know
yeah.
that we have an ordinance that says you should have a, your
Yeah.
driveway's gotta have a culvert.
Yeah.
I think. I agree with that, but I also think in redoing this comp plan, part of the conversation, I think, I don't know if it was this committee or somebody made it on previous committees, all the previous comp plans kind of just like, here we are in 2008. And this is where we're at, and there's not this, how do we even get here?
Well,
right?
Marianne did a bunch of research on that before she had to back out, but, you got some information from some folks, right, Marianne, on the history of the area? And we have some
And
folks here.
I was trying to put together a little bit of a timeline. I never did get around to very much text associated with it. There are probably a couple of gaps in the timeline, but it is posted on that Google Drive. And if anyone wants to open it and can contribute to any intermediate milestones that are not included, that would be great.
I think,
But within each section, we have that opening about, what has been done, existing conditions and what projects and what they cost. That might be a great place to have a picture of your nice wastewater treatment plant, right? Adjacent to where you're talking about things that have happened. You will have maybe some preliminary earthwork done for your workforce housing, that you could at least show that site and that's underway. So I would take a look at each section's existing conditions and projects that have been completed since 2008, and maybe have a photo of representing those things.
Now, Angel Fire has the 2 oldest water shares in the history of the Moreno Valley. However, it's the youngest municipality in Colfax County. And this area was part of the Bobane land grant, the largest ranch in the history of the United States.
Bobby and Maxwell.
Yes, across Colorado and New Mexico. And the Sinigua Creek is the oldest water share in the valley. And yet we're the youngest municipality because we got incorporated in 1986. So.
not 1969?
Huh?
Not 1969?
We
No, that was
incorporated,
when the resort started, 66.
yeah, the resort started,
Okay,
but it didn't become a village until 1986.
that's great history.
I know because I've skied when it was 30 and 40 for free, because it's the exact age of me.
Oh,
And they
okay.
gave everybody that was the same age of the resort a free skiing.
Wow.
Wow.
They don't do it anymore.
No, dang it.
Wow. Okay.
So I just, images, I got, trails use, bike use, a failing culvert, a Liberty Square event that's easy to get pictures of, wastewater treatment plant. A fire hydrant that's either covered in black plastic or blue. showing the issues with water.
Yeah, the different colors mean different things, so I don't know.
Yeah, they depend on how much they can actually, how many gallons per minute. So there's a crew out right now, I think the village just hired a crew that's out right now, repainting or retesting
Really?
hydrants.
Yeah.
And
I
putting
saw
up
the-
new black
I
plastic.
saw the meter guys out yesterday.
Yeah.
They must be going out doing more meters now.
They are.
Yeah, so that's a good photo. We have earthwork at the workforce housing. Some success showing what happened in Northwest Quadrant would be good to show
Oh my
that,
God.
well, there's gotta be
It's a
something good that we can show.
disaster out there. That is a disaster.
We'll go behind the construction zones.
Yeah, okay, other photos, we
I
wanna,
think one at Monteverde Lake, one showing the resort ski in winter, you know, the runs off the face of the mountain. I think one looking up Bill Burgess or looking down Bill Burgess, from where like the pizza stop is, that intersection with Vale.
yeah,
If we can get, I mean, there's some incredible views, I've only come on the backside, but do you know where Champions Road is? It's the road just before you get to the stables.
Mhm.
So that's Valley of the Utes where the stables are. There's a road right before it and it's a cul-de-sac. And so that property owner is like 180 acres and he's got it on the market for sale.
Mhm.
And just the view, you see Wheeler, you see Monteverde Lake, you see the rest of the valley.
Is he still interested in developing that?
He is, he's also interested in selling it. So if you wanna make a deal. But there's some of
Put
these
in a
views.
main pipeline
Had to
for
get the
your
sewer
wastewater.
under the highway.
Exactly.
He's got water, no sewer, but if we could get something like a panorama of some of these vistas that we have, I think that'd be great. You know, the mountains at sunset or a sunset photo, right?
My friends, well,
skate park
you
festival.
live up there, Attila, but you know, my friends over on Panorama Way, they have a great view of the
Yeah.
valley.
It's crazy when I go around, we manage 150 places, and so like we go to this one, oh, this is the greatest view. Oh, this is the greatest. view. Yeah. I mean, there is one house that I do think has the greatest view,
Okay.
but it's amazing the views from here in every direction. They're just unbelievable.
That's my suggestion. If we could capture some of that, of those elements of why is this such a special place? Here's part of the reason why.
One other photo you might include would be your shiny new ski resort emergency care center.
Oh, yeah.
Just capture,
Trails, of course.
yeah.
On our new event.
Yeah, I had Liberty Square event, so you could just capture anything from
Mhm.
any one of the events. I think the skate park festival coming up shows kids stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, just stand on the stage at Liberty Park and you're like, wow, the band has the best view in the.
Really?
Oh, it's incredible going up to Ski Mountain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then everyone is seeing Wheeler behind them when they're
Yeah,
at the festival,
exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
both things.
We got something at Allen Fields, a photo of a softball game or a
Yeah.
soccer game.
Oh,
at Allen
yeah.
Fields.
That tournament's coming up, so get out there.
If we had something from the community center, pickleball or something, and from the inside, I think that'd be helpful too. Incidentally, the event space is gonna be 6 feet higher than the grass. So you'll be inside or you'll come out on that patio.
Say that again.
That
Oh, I
event
see, so
space-
you're above the space.
So that event space that where the tent is, that's gonna be replaced by a building, is gonna sit 6 feet higher than the yard.
Okay.
So you can come out on the patio and you're looking over everybody's heads to see the band
Okay.
with this great view of Wheeler and all
And
that.
the majority of it's covered, right?
Correct,
So
correct.
it's gonna take the place as the tent as being the covered space.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So on the photos, Bill could probably do some should we, since it seems like, Greg has got the drones and everything else, should
Oh.
we ask?
Drone photo.
Yeah.
Can we ask Greg to maybe,
What do we have as stock photos that we could
Right.
use?
We already
Yeah.
have some.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, they have a good library. We've paid for 2 different winter and summer series.
Ask Greg for stock photos or others, right? So I'll take this list, put it together. And can you touch base with Greg? Okay, I'll prepare the list of things we thought about just now.
Okay, I put a few of them in the notes.
Okay, ask Greg for
Just a few.
stock photo list. I'm sure he's got tons in the water treatment plant and
Mhm.
failing infrastructure, road infrastructure.
Those are on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think they would do it. They had a tour of the water treatment, would they do that? I would go, I would like to see it.
I've done,
You have?
yeah, you can just ask and I
They'll let
mean,
you in?
Kurt will, set it up for you.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't know, I've done
it's
the
really
the
cool.
dam and everything.
They've
when they
done-
Publish it.
Their wastewater treatment plant is really great. They need to make sure that they have the people there to know how to run it. And the SCADA systems are amazing. And those are all relatively new, within the last year or two. That are providing all the information about all the water tanks and everything. Good stuff. Really interesting.
Okay, so their action I heard, is Santos, you're gonna, assign committee members chapters to review.
Correct.
Okay, and ask, is it, content review? Is it, what are you asking for us? Santos assign. Chapter review,
I think if you just leave it at that,
okay,
that makes sense.
Santos do everything.
Yeah,
well, he's the project manager getting paid to do it all now.
That's right.
We could just sit back and advise.
And he has time this summer.
Oh, that's at midnight 6. Like I said.
Yeah,
right.
so maybe what's missing, thinking about, coordination and collaboration with other committees. I think that'd be a good task to look at. Collaboration.
How is that?
Well, I think if I'm looking at workforce housing, or I'm looking at something I'm not familiar with, I'm gonna think about how that ties in with what I know.
Yes.
So
But how do we,
I think it's just comments that, here's a policy
Okay.
idea, here's a project idea, here's something that we can make this document flow better. Yeah, that makes sense?
That does.
Okay. And when's all, you're gonna assign this to us, we're in July, so basically now through the middle of August?
Yeah.
Okay. July 17th, August 17th.
What I could do is I could pass the draft of the executive summary to the committee to get feedback on that. And as we start going out to the chapters, it would go to individuals.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. And it's basically us, right? I'm not expecting, Mark to dig into this very much, unless there's something that ties the resort with this stuff.
Well, he's a member of the committee, right?
Remember the committee.
So whatever feedback we can get from the committee on the executive summary, make sure that, you kind of hear the voices in the executive summary of the chapters, right? And then as we get chapters assigned, I don't know what Mark's preferred role would be in that, but if we can ask him when he comes back next week.
Okay, and I want to wrap up after an hour and a half. So. What else on timeline? So we're in August 17th to review this stuff, and then it's between August. And we have another 45 days before the Oktoberfest Town Hall idea. What else are we gonna do between that time?
Working on draft,
Draft,
Yeah.
okay,
and photos. Making sure we're not in a tangent, but we're actually where the chapters and committees are coming together.
how do we engage the committee chairs on this process? Are they part of this process, or was it us doing all the work? And do we think we've got what we from them?
I'd like to get initial feedback of, this is what we heard from our town hall. What input do you have? as we start drafting language to it, I think is a good way to start.
I think they're gonna wanna see something to comment on. I don't think, you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's a start. And as we get the chapters started drafting out, this is what we've heard on this chapter that impacts your committee.
Yeah,
Is this all still going in the right direction?
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so committee will review content.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
And we'll start with the town hall. Hey, this is the feedback we got on your committee. Here's what the vote tallies were based on your boards. Tell us what you think.
right, and also provide us the list of comments and your committee response to those comments, because that's gotta go in the public record in the back of the plan.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we start. I'll try to get that out to the committees within the week.
Okay,
Yeah, Mary Ann?
Is the committee still interested in preparing timelines for improvement ideas? Both within sections and then a comprehensive timeline addressing all the different subject areas?
For the plan itself?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I guess when I was talking about the timeline, if we're putting in the goals and objectives from all the committees and the work, and we're looking at where the overlap is, I think it's my recommendation would be, we'll have to get consensus on this, but my recommendation is that the village retains the facilitator to host a retreat with department heads and council to develop the 3-year action plan for that. I think it's beyond our scope as an advisory committee to recommend that. It's gonna be up to where they think their budget is, where they think the resources are, if they have enough people to do these things. So my strongest recommendation is that there is a facilitated day and a half, probably a day or a day and a half retreat. Mandatory for council and department heads to go through this. So once the plan is adopted, the very next step is to create the 3-year, 5-year action plan on that. Is that answer?
Okay.
That's the way I would see it. I don't know if you guys agree with that approach or not.
I think as this thing is morphing along, I know we had originally put in the plan, a timeline for things, but it is a very specific thing to have that timeline in there and say, we're gonna have this by this time, this by this time. If after that retreat is done, maybe we could incorporate some of that back into the plan.
Well, it basically is part of the plan. It's just the action plan could be an amendment to the plan after they do that.
Yeah,
I would think that it's best that,
Okay.
yeah, so I think it's best, here's the plan. Here's the items here's the action items we think you guys gotta consider, but you gotta determine where they fit best into your work plan.
Yeah.
Mary
Yeah,
Ann,
I think what you could do is after you've published your comp plan, a separate publication called the addendum could to the comp plan could address the timeline that, as you say, the village would be placed into some sort of a workshop, retreat or whatever that would incorporate their capital improvement plans. You know, those are out there 2 years in advance. If they could say, okay, well, we've already established capital improvement through 2027, but then maybe even just kind of put blocks of 2-year increments of things that they would see on the burner for capital improvement plans, say over the next 10 years. That way they could take the goals and objectives from the comp plan to start trying to lay that out so that they have a bit of a guideline for the next. I mean, this comp plan is supposed to be a view for the next 10 years with an update at 5 years. But if they were able to take what we've identified as goals and objectives and have a little projection as to what their capital improvement plans will be over the next 10 years, it could be used as an addendum to this plan and published in early 2026.
I like that approach.
yeah.
Okay,
I just add, I don't know if the council's gonna have time to do a 3-day retreat or a day retreat. But a day retreat, I think, is something the council's been used to. It's a work session, right?
Yeah.
You know, you guys had work sessions for a day to get the budget done and, scheduled from 9 to when you got your budget. So,
Maybe you would group sections like that.
So
that.
you-
You
I-
could say
I-
these are 5 or 3 go together, so let's do.
I could see it almost being segmented into, we're gonna do a work session on infrastructure.
Mhm,
We're gonna do a work session on, in economic development.
mhm.
That I think fits into a timeline for council members and committee, and department heads. Rather than, we're gonna go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I don't, I think there's a way to make it work within their schedule that still gets to the same goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know that the expectation would be, council's gonna take 3 days.
Yeah,
But I think there's a format that they're used to, that you guys have done,
I think that's it.
where they can still handle the task. Have all the required notices that, hey, there's a potential for quorum kind of thing like that, so,
so the outcome is still the same, the outcome
Correct.
or the deliverable is still,
yes.
here is our, here's an addendum to the plan with our, CIP stuff in there.
And maybe
Strategies.
you do two departments or 3 departments in one setting,
Yeah,
Because
right.
They have the cross purposes,
They don't,
right?
right?
Yeah.
And then the next, we'll come out a week later, we'll do 2 a month, first and third week, whatever. So I think there's a way to make it fit within their calendar
Mhm.
and still meet the same goal.
Yeah,
yeah,
as
Yeah.
you.
I think that sounds good. The end result would be the same.
yeah,
Yep.
okay. And we should write that up somehow, here's how we sing.
I think that's a great suggestion to have. And that's probably got the flexibility to get the council members and department heads be able to sit down at the same time.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, I was surprised to see Kurt for 5 minutes this morning. I mean, the last week with the water main breaks and all the other stuff that's going on.
Yeah,
Most folks are busy and in the field, so. If we can get 1 day, I think that makes sense.
okay, it's 10:30. Let's quick do a wrap up of where we're at, so as far as our actions. I captured, you're gonna talk to Greg about the survey tool, potential adoption to the comp plan.
And photos.
And photos, it's another action item, there's 2 there. We're gonna upload the panels to the website, Santos will get photos of those panels from the committees. I will do a paragraph on the town hall results. And how you can participate further. Santos will talk to Shay. About getting on the website, and we also need social media presence. And at least the village page and 1 or 2 of the private Facebook pages of the village. Shares most information on, that sends people back to the village site, so. I don't think we wanna capture any public comments on the Facebook page unless it's the official village page.
And we're posting this turn off comments.
Yeah, turn off comments, yeah. Okay, good point. Town hall, we're gonna do a town hall, we're pushing for the fall. And we're gonna try to tie that in with the Oktoberfest. Potentially, let's see, other action items. We wanna talk to Julie to review each of our templates and identify some key funding sources. For each one of the committees, there's a potential to add the list in there. That's available. And then their timeline, okay, then we have an action item. Ask Greg for stock photos. And if he's interested in preparing a list of other photos, which I will summarize what I got here. In a list I'll share with the committee. Santos as project manager will sign chapter reviews. To us, we're looking at what's missing, coordination, collaboration with other committees. He'll share the executive summary with all of us and the committee chairs. That's gonna happen between July now and August 17th. Committee chairs will review content as well. Then, if we can add to the AF history timeline, that's already the Google Drive that Mary Ann started. I think that's everything I captured as far as actions from now.
Was there anything on the minutes that you needed?
I think we kind of, the minutes did talk about,
They were just action items. but
no, we were gonna review and remove action items that were, so
Okay.
let's make that our next, meeting. So the next topic real quick is, topics for our next meeting, and I think it's gonna be mostly now reviewing content.
I hope so.
Okay, so action item for next meeting is review content,
I think we should give an update on survey, just what we've got on our cast, stock photos,
update,
Um,
survey.
survey tools. And then text, let's start digging into some drafts.
Okay, go to review our action item list and remove stuff or add stuff, review
Mhm,
action
mhm.
item. List review.
I'm just wondering how much more information gathering needs to occur, to start the work in developing these sections. Do we feel like, I mean, I can say for sure, probably Trails and Rec is pretty far along, but I don't know how much you guys have dug into all the recreational options, like making a recommendation that the event center include some recreation for people during the winter, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, I guess that's the kind of thing we'll cover when we do a review of the content, or what?
I feel that we're gonna be looking at text and we're gonna still be having these conversations. I don't think we're at a point where conversations need to stop.
Right,
I
right.
don't think we're at that point.
Okay, so this is just gonna help build that conversation.
We're starting to
The
assemble,
TV in there is on, isn't it?
you know, is how I feel we're
Just
moving,
turn the volume on.
but it doesn't get to a
It's-
point
There's
where.
there's a little button.
There's gonna be a point where we just stop and say, let's just keep writing.
Yeah.
I just don't think we're at that point yet.
And you're gonna continue to attend meetings, all the committees?
They're all on Zoom.
Okay, next meeting date and time.
So let's shoot for a month.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Look at your calendar. Hmm,
I'm here all.
So August something,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
we
that-
are the 17th. The 14th would be good for me, which is a Thursday again. Do you think that's a good day for you guys?
I'm open, I think, as far as I know.
Okay, the
the
14th,
14th is better for me because I start teaching on the 19th.
okay,
So Tuesday, Thursdays mornings will be in class, unless we did something in the afternoon.
I do have
or
something.
log in.
yeah, okay,
So August 14th, we do 9 o'clock again?
okay.
Just letting you know, there is an airport committee meeting that day at 10.
Here,
Mhm.
Oh,
So if you can do it within an hour, that's fine,
what
but if
about the
not,
afternoon thing?
You wanna do 8:30 to 10 and get it, we can do 8:30 to 10?
Yeah.
Is that right with you? 8:30 to 10?
I get to work at 7:30, so it's.
All right, 8:30 to 10, and we're out of here before 10 o'clock. Is that good with you? As long as we
that's
wrap up
perfect, yes.
8:30, 10 a.m. Okay. Thursday. All right, and Allison, can you just summarize and put out the action items out before the notes go out, at least a summary of here's action this meeting, so we don't forget, because I saw something I was responsible for. It's like, oh, I forgot it, totally
Yeah.
forgot about that, so.
So, yeah, I'll have to go through here and make sure it's kind of.
Yeah, do you wanna share with me, cause
I
I
will.
captured most of it, and then we
Yes,
can
I
just
can
get
read
that
that.
out this week. So we can just, here's the action list for that. Anything else for the good of the cause?
I think overall, there was a lot of maybe anxiety of what this meeting would be like on the town hall, because it hadn't been done before. And I think the expectations were clearly met, or we exceeded expectations in most parts. I think it was a highly engaged event across the board. I think it was great that we had Parks, Trails, Liberty Square and infrastructure kind of balancing out everything in between. I do think it was kind of tricky that the airport guy brought an airplane. That was,
Yes, he kind of raised the bar for the next one.
and it wasn't a little rinky, it was like a 3 foot.
It was like, everybody was like,
Yeah,
Everyone's gotta bring a prop for the next.
it was a good prop. I'm just glad the fire adaptive didn't start a fire.
Yeah, yes.
Big
pile.
A full
Yeah.
model.
Big
flash.
flat pile.
I even like that event. I went to see, I really liked the cartoon movie Up, and they had it there, and it was awesome at the hangar, and
Oh,
it was a good event. So
I
they
think-
did a good job of, I mean, I've never interacted with the airport, so I did, and it was really fun.
I think this was a first on a number of levels that, from what I heard people say, this is the first time they've gone to a resort meeting and there was actually things that were being done. You know, you could see the lifts being, the forms being made, that it's actually the pickleball courts are actually being, and then you get to the village side of Liberty Square, Frank Young Trail, events, you know, oh my gosh, and they see some of the roads being improved, they see hydrants being installed, that this was the first time in a long time that people are like, wow, this stuff's happening,
Yeah.
which I think is a great opportunity that I think feeds into that pulse check survey that Greg did of how are we doing, right? So I think overall, I think that's kind of natural with town halls and big public venue meetings. Who's gonna show, how many people show, is it the same 10 people? Is it the voices we've already heard? It was,
Well, and all those people that got informed, they're gonna tell the other people they
Yeah.
know here, and so I think the more people that are informed about what's going on and what issues, then the better it's gonna be.
absolutely.
I think if there's a way to, suggest to council and mayor, they could do coffee with the councilor or a hike with the mayor and talk about whatever topic, talk about a fire topic. Those were really successful with small communities that used to do these coffee with the
Yes.
councilor. So if there's a way to encourage,
I know Joe did coffee with the mayor.
And then COVID.
yeah.
yeah,
But if they can start those back up again, you could make one of these topic, you know, what do you think about Liberty Square? What do you think about fire fuel policy? Any number of topics you could have, get input in from the community. And if you,
Tequila with the lodging committee. So,
yeah, if you're there to bitch, then, you know, you've got to buy everyone coffee. So,
But I think overall, it was a great event to keep momentum of what we're trying to achieve. And I know trying to get boards done and then Kinko's saying, oh, we'll have them done Saturday afternoon. No, you said Friday.
FedEx office.
Yeah, right, FedEx Kinko's, right, sorry, yes, yeah. And making sure that there was one typo out of the whole thing.
Wow.
Out of the whole thing, it said lake instead of look. But you know, lake was spelled correctly.
Oh, no.
Did anybody point it out?
One person did.
so from the first idea that, well, I think February, and I wrote up a proposal for this and gave it to Brett, and to the outcome, it stayed pretty close to form the whole way through.
Well, you had to make some adjustments at the last minute.
We had to make some
Yes.
adjustment, because that's just how, because Greg, you know, he thinks differently than from the perspective we're coming at. That's okay. So,
It
was just understanding
definitely
it.
exceeded my expectations.
yeah.
Great, that's awesome. I wish I had been here.
All right. Thank you for recording that for us.
Move adjourned,
Are we adjourned?
We're done.
yes.